All right, so welcome to part two. And as before, we're going to edit out some of the long pauses. We left here with the region. So, of course, for us, it's United States. Now, it should prove to you or reinforce with you that Windows is international. You might find yourself setting up machines that are going to be used in the UK, Spain, France, South America. You don't know. So those regions right now aren't very vital. We choose US and off we go, but they may indeed become important. Next section is the right keyboard layout? Yes, there is a difference. You need to use the correct keyboard. Symbols on it are different. The layout is different. Now, here it asks for a second keyboard. Why would you want a second keyboard? Well, you might be supporting machines that are used in foreign countries. You might be supporting machines that are used in an office that deals with foreign countries and has translators. You may need the accents and the tildes and the pound currency symbol. So having a second keyboard layout that the user can switch to could become important. So now we're back to now we have some important setup to do. We're letting the Windows installer and Windows setup program take control for a while. So we're gonna let that cook and then come back as soon as it's done. And so the important work has a while to go and also does the just one moment. So I've edited quite a bit of that out. Once that is over, you come to a screen that asks you for Microsoft credentials. All right, so now here's the deal with that. It expects and it wants every user to have a Microsoft user account, right? In a domain situation or in a professional situation, a business, you don't want individual users to take ownership of that device. So we're going to use domain join instead, which is over in the bottom left-hand corner. The other trick to get around that is to simply disconnect yourself from the network. Notice I try to advance without a Microsoft account, it kicks back and says, nope, you need one. So the only way out of it is to say join domain, or to disconnect every network connection before you do this part of the install. That sort of tricks Microsoft and you get to skip over that screen. It's a nice little workaround. It saves you a few fractions of a second of time. After that, you get who's going to use this PC. Now we're going to get more into the details of local users versus network users and privileges, but for now let's consider this the first local user or user on this machine that it's going to know about. So we give it a username, and I've instructed to give it admin, lowercase, and we give it a password. Now again, the password for this term is password, capital P with a 0. Right? Notice I took a couple attempts because I fat fingered it. It's going to ask you to confirm that password. Now's your chance to not make mistakes. Once you've done this, you're pretty done. You can't recover it. The next couple things, and this again is for a typical install, you can ask for security questions. So in this instance in the lab, choose whatever questions you want, but always answer the question with the word Gettysburg with a capital G. That lets me or you recover the machine should we forget that the password is password. Right? So every answer, no matter what the question is, should be Gettysburg. Once we've done that, we're going to be back to the just a moment screen, so we'll let that spin. The next thing that comes up is going to be security preferences and data preferences. So Microsoft, like all the other big tech companies, are going to do some data mining. In a typical professional install, I don't know anybody who leaves these things turned on. You don't want your employees' information getting out. You don't want information about your network getting out. So we just go through every instance of these privacy settings and turn them off, right? We want to protect our employees, our clients' privacy. If this is going to an independent client, an individual client, they feel free to turn them back on, but we're going to protect their privacy right out of the gate. So we want to make sure all those things are checked off and we choose accept. And then once that happens, it's going through and making those settings in the appropriate Windows files. And we're back to just a moment again. Now that moment is a little shorter than most, and here we're asked if we want to integrate information across devices. Typically, we're going to say no. Again, in a corporate environment, nope. We're dealing with this PC and this PC only. We might not support mobile devices like Surfaces and phones. Cortana, my advice is to run Screaming from the Building. No, we don't want Cortana to help us out. It becomes a racket in an office where there are dozens and dozens of machines running at the same time. And another brief set of moments, and we're finally at the point where Windows greets us with an hello. So this is the last stage. We've made all the minor decisions we have to make, and Windows knows us enough now where we're now getting ready to actually launch Windows. So it does a couple splash screens while it's doing it, telling you don't turn off your PC. Can I just stress that's a really bad idea? Cutting off an install in the middle of an install will effectively ruin your work. So yeah, make sure if it's a laptop, it's plugged in. Make sure if it's a desktop, you're not doing it during a thunderstorm. Just a good idea, or back to square one you go. So once these splash screens are done, we'll see that it comes up to the Windows interface that we're all familiar with. That last message, this might take several minutes, is not a lie. And finally, we get to the almost there. Such an encouraging thing, Microsoft. And boom, voila, finally, the Windows desktop interface. Now again, our work is not done, but we have successfully installed Windows. So you have a Windows device where the username is going to be admin, lowercase a, the password is going to be password, capital P with a 0 for the O, and off to the races we go. And so that's the end of our Windows installation. Not really all that difficult. A few questions to, answer, a few things to decide to do. But once that's up and running, now we have to get it to perform. And performance is always a bigger deal than installation. So keep moving forward. If you have any questions, you know where I'm at.